Had to make some last minute additions to the script of this video. I hope you guys do enjoy. But, oh, Ghost of Yotei, the game that was controversial ever since it was first announced. I personally would have given it a chance, but I wasn't feeling it because it looked and played too similar to its predecessor, and the story was off. I wanted a bit more of Jin Sakai's story to see how it would have played out from the original game's endings. But in this video, I will give you the basic breakdown in comparison of the sales of Ghost of Yotei and Tsushima, along with my personal observations worth noting. Hit that like and subscribe buttons for more videos like this from this channel, and with that said, let's talk. Hey everyone, AO here to give you a basic breakdown of Ghost of Yotei's sales thus far. This game was released earlier this month on October 2nd and sold 1.6 million copies within its first week, according to an estimate by Ray's Elliott from Alinea Analytics. I've been looking closely toward this game from its pre and post release, and what frustrates me is when I'm looking up to find solid information about this title, I'm getting a lot of sensationalized puff pieces that make this game look a lot more successful than what it really is. In a nutshell, the game is selling well. However, considering what thegamer.com reports from a paywalled article written by Stephen Totilo from GameFile.com that Ghost of Yotei, like its predecessor, Ghost of Tsushima, has an estimated budget of $60 million, and on this channel, we don't take a budget of any major or minor project at face value. So you multiply that by 2, and you get the total amount of $120 million for the reason of adding in marketing on various platforms. So let's switch over to another game of an even greater caliber, that is Marvel's Spider-Man, that came out back in September of 2018. And at that time, the game was exclusively on the PS4 until it was released on Steam in August of 2022. In its first 2 years after the game's initial release, Spider-Man PS4 sold over 20 million units worldwide, according to Tweaktown.com, compared to the sequel that came out on PS5 back in October of 2023. And as of last year, in May, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 sold over 11 million units, according to VGCharts.com. And that's a rough, and I do mean that's a rough 48% drop. So I mention this because the Ghost franchise is on track of mirroring the Spider-Man games, with Ghost of Tsushima in 2020 selling 2.4 million units in its first 3 days, and you compare that to its sequel, Ghost of Yotei's release earlier this month, which I mentioned earlier in this video, of 1.6 million in its first week. Looking at this objectively, we are seeing a literal example of diminishing returns. Sure, Marvel Spider-Man 2 had an estimated budget of $315 million, but as of this year, there are no new reports of sales, and I'll hold that opinion for a later time, but that really does not look good for that game. On the flip side, we have Ghost of Yotei having a significantly lower budget, which is good, but come to find out, according to ManchesterEveningNews.com, that this game had a 14% discount in the UK after the first 2 weeks after release, and we're still in the first month of release. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't intend on sounding like an alarmist, and it is commonplace for games to have discounts early, either on or after release. But in regards to the general optics of the performance of Ghost of Yotei sales, I said it before and I'll say it again, it does not look good. So this tells me there's already a drop in sales, and word of mouth is leaning towards a negative due to, let's just say, a game developer's perceived celebration of an influential person's involuntary mortal checkout and an actor's ideological and political stance. But let me know what you all think in the comments down below. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.